Welcome everybody to the MedTech Innovator 2020 finals. We're really excited to virtually see you all today. Since its inception in the US 8 years ago, we now have 340 alumni companies with over 60 products launched already into the market and having raised a record $2 billion in follow-on equity funding. In Asia, this is our second year of the competition. In total, over the last couple of years, we've had over 350 companies apply from across the region to participate in the competition. This year alone, we've had 200 applicants and already 20 companies chosen to join the accelerator. And of course, today, the 5 finalists who will present for the winning prize. And Frederick, of course, will tell you more about the winning prize. So I wanted to say a little bit about why competitions like this are so crucial for our region. We have over 2/3 of the world's population, a population that is aging with rapidly rising chronic diseases. And a large part of this population has limited or no access to healthcare at all. So we need innovative solutions from across the ecosystem, from large companies, but also from startups like yourself, if we're going to be able to tackle these massive challenges. And I think that's why APAC Med partnered with MedTech Innovator so that we could support in creating this pipeline of innovation. I'd like to wish the very best to all the 5 finalists today. And of course, we look forward to congratulating them and the winner. So now I'm going to pass over to Frederick, who will take it from here. Thank you.
Thank you, Harjit. Ladies and gentlemen, good morning and a very warm welcome. Thank you for joining us today. As many of you are aware, MedTech Innovator is a non-profit with a singular mission to ensure that transformative innovations reach patients. This is our 8th year globally and our 2nd year here in Asia Pacific. We are the world's largest MedTech accelerator by far, according to recent industry research. The MedTech Innovator Asia Pacific Grand Finals are really the culmination of months of hard work by many individuals and by many organizations. Our 2020 program in Asia Pacific kicked off in February with 20 startups invited to pitch from hundreds of applicants. Reviewers from our corporate partners and invited Asia-based healthcare VCs and local domain experts then took their time to evaluate each of the applicants. Back in 2019, we held our pitch events in Tokyo, Shanghai, Singapore, and Sydney. Given the COVID-19 pandemic, we had to take our regional roadshow online this year. 4 planned in-person pitch events across the region were replaced by 6 online events. We've been thoroughly impressed with the quality of the presentations, the passion of the founders, and the breadth of innovations focused on transforming the lives of patients in Asia Pacific and beyond. Together with our corporate partners, we then selected the 20 best startups to go on to our 3-month virtual accelerator. Some of the key components of this year's accelerator program are 1, corporate mentorships, 2, tailored educational weekly webinars featuring experts from across the region, and 3, the opportunity for each startup to pitch at the APAC Med Virtual Forum, which was held back in September. Our selection committee then met and had the unenviable task of selecting the 5 top companies to go on to today's finals. And here we are today at the end of the journey. And with that, I will hand over to our MC for today's event, dialing in from Los Angeles, California. Please join me in welcoming MedTech Innovator CEO, Paul Grant.
Thank you, Frederick. Hi, everyone. I'm Paul Grant, CEO here at MedTech Innovator. If you look on the slide next to me, what you'll see is a picture of the MedTech Innovator graduating class from Asia Pacific in 2019. These are 20 companies that truly are transforming the healthcare ecosystem in Asia Pacific. And our mission is to make sure that these entrepreneurs succeed. Because really, when you think about it, it's the innovators who are helping patients live longer, healthier lives, and they need our support to do so. What you see here now, next to me, is the MedTech Innovator 2020 cohort. These are companies all across Asia Pacific who are working tirelessly day and night to make sure that patients are healthier, that patients live longer lives. And these are the people. We have to remember that there are people behind these innovations. It's not just technologies, it's people. And that's what we're here to celebrate today, are these innovators. Now, MedTech Innovator has been working for 8 years to do what we do all around the world. You'll see some of our highlights over here on the screen. We have 320 companies that have graduated our past cohorts, with 20 new companies coming today from Asia Pacific. That makes it 340 companies that are part of our portfolio. These companies have gone on to raise over $2 billion in follow-on funding. There's many great things here that I'm very proud of. The one I'm going to point out singularly is that these companies have 74 products that are now on the market, and that's what this is all about. MedTech Innovator could not do this on our own. We are very fortunate to work with some of the leading multinationals in healthcare, starting with Johnson & Johnson, who was our founding sponsor in MedTech Innovator, and who also was responsible for helping to bring us to Asia Pacific. And they're joined by a number of additional partners: Align Technology, Enterprise Singapore, Nipro Corporation, Oliver Healthcare Packaging, Olympus Corporation, and Siemens Healthineers. These companies support us not only financially, but with their people. They are the ones who are helping to mentor these companies and make sure that they're successful in their missions. As Frederick mentioned, the search ends today. We started with over 180 companies who applied. We invited 50 companies to pitch in various pitch events. We down selected to 20 companies who are now part of the accelerator. Of those, after spending months and months working with our corporate partners and other mentors, we selected 5 finalists to compete for you here today. I wish we could have selected more, because in truth, all of these companies are deserving of being here on the final stage, but it is a competition, and we had to choose 5. There will be 1 grand prize winner, and 4 companies will serve as runner-ups, because each of them is deemed a winner for making it to the finals. I am incredibly proud of our 2020 MedTech Innovator Asia Pacific Accelerator cohort. These companies hail from all across Asia Pacific, including countries like India, Singapore, Hong Kong, South Korea, Estonia, the United States, China, Japan, and Malaysia. All right, so let's meet today's judges. You see them here next to me on the screen. I'm going to go ahead and introduce each of them. Kiyoshi Miyake from Olympus Corporation.
Hi, I'm Kiyoshi Miyake. I'm a senior expert of technology scouting and collaboration of Olympus. Olympus is doing the business in endoscope and the surgical products field. So that we are seeking new or more innovative solutions. So therefore, we are partners with the MedTech Innovator. Thank you.
Julie Tay from Align Technology.
Hi everyone, I'm Julie. I'm the SVP and MD of Align Technology. We are the clear leader in clear orthodontic category, a fully digital platform that we offer to doctors, and we're all about transforming smiles and changing lives. This is the first time that we're participating in MTI and sponsoring, and we're really impressed by the process and by all the innovations we saw. Thank you.
Tomoko Ishikura from Nipro Corporation.
Hi, I'm Tomoko Ishikura. I'm a business development advisor for Nipro Corporation. Nipro is a Japanese medical device company of renal, vascular, surgical, and interventional radiology products. And we are actively seeking investment and partnership opportunities in companies that are innovative and bring great value to the patients and healthcare providers. It's a pleasure to be here.
Florian Belolovic from Siemens Healthineers.
So thank you, Paul. I'm Florian Belolovic. I'm heading the Strategy and Business Development Department for Asia Pacific. I'm working for Siemens Healthineers, a global provider of medical equipment for imaging, but also having products for advanced therapy and also in the lab diagnostic area. We decided to partner with MedTech Innovator because we strongly believe in the innovation power here in Asia Pacific, and we can see that with all the participants in this year's program. And I'm looking forward to that grand finals because the finalists are quite strong, and I'm looking forward to the pitches.
Peter Hawks from Johnson & Johnson.
Thanks, Paul. Yes, my name is Peter Hawks. I'm Head of Business Development for Johnson & Johnson Medical Devices here in Asia Pacific. And we're really excited to be a part of MedTech Innovator here in Asia. We have been a part of MedTech Innovator for the past 7 or 8 years, both in the US and now for the past couple of years here in Asia Pacific. And we truly believe that and excited about the innovation that's coming out of Asia Pacific, in Asia and for Asia Pacific and beyond, and really looking forward to today. Thanks, Paul.
Now, as you know, this is a competition and you're going to get to choose the winner. First prize today, $150,000 US, as well as runner-up prizes of $10,000 for each of our other finalists, sponsored by the companies you see here on the slide. So let's meet our finalists. You see them all here on the screen next to me. I'm going to go ahead and introduce each of these companies. They're going to go ahead and give you a short pitch, approximately 3 to 4 minutes, followed by 3 to 4 minutes of Q&A from our judges. If any of the companies go over in time, we'll just give them a little bit less in Q&A. So let's go ahead and start with our first company of today, Sebastian Bhakti from Excel.
Thank you, Paul. My name is Dr. Sebastian Bhakti, and I'm the founder and CEO of Excel. I'm not addressing you from our head office in Singapore today, but from the front line, from our R&D center in Bangkok. Here in Thailand, we work on something many have tried, but no one has mastered: pain-free early cancer detection. I don't have to tell you that detecting cancer early, when it is still curable, is one of the biggest medical challenges of our time. There are 200 different types of cancer in the world, but only one screening method that actually prolongs your life, the pap smear. All other screening tests simply find cancer too late. That's true for simple ones like mammograms and for fancy ones like DNA sequencing. As a medical doctor, this has been frustrating me all my life. But there's good news too. Cancer screening doesn't have to stay broken. When aggressive tumors start to grow, even when they are less than 1 millimeter in size, they shed cancer endothelial cells into your bloodstream. But these cells, called TCEC, are extremely rare. Think 1 cancer cell in 5 billion healthy cells. So for the longest time, they have been considered undetectable in clinical routine, until now. Excel has developed a platform technology to isolate, visualize, and analyze a single TCEC in a 10 milliliter blood sample. It consists of 3 modules that cover cell isolation, fixation, and multiplexing on standard microscope slides, followed by automated cell analysis using our own proprietary AI. So what you see behind me is a working system that has been patented, tested, and published. It can be deployed in any routine pathology lab around the world. What does that mean? It means that we are tapping into existing infrastructures and that we can bring it to market faster and more affordably than competing technologies, for example, DNA processing. Our first clinical application is an early detection test for prostate cancer patients. It has been validated in 2 clinical studies and is already listed with the leading private hospital chains here in Thailand. A third multi-center study is currently underway in Singapore. This study will lead to CE-IVD certification and allow us to launch there next year, followed by Australia and Europe. But prostate cancer is only the beginning. As we speak, we are working with leading university hospitals in Thailand, Singapore, and Germany on additional TCEC tests. They are covering lung, liver, and colon cancer, as well as leukemia and melanoma, running on the very same platform. I am proud to add that we have achieved all this with spending less than $3.5 million US since 2016. But what is most exciting is that everything we learn directly feeds into our big vision, a general cancer screening test that is digitized, scalable, and accessible for everyone, anywhere in the world. To make this all happen, we have assembled an amazing multinational team with decades of experience in clinical medicine and research, engineering, software, brand building, and sales. They don't just have the right skill set, but also the values and the drive to execute that you need in these challenging times. They are all holding their breath right now because we know that MedTech Innovator is the perfect platform to let the world know that XL has found a way to make cancer screening work. In fact, we are at that critical stage now where we need to take our technology to the next level, from Asia to the world. And MedTech Innovator can help us get there. Winning this competition will help us launch our prostate test in Singapore and open our first European office in Germany by June next year. You see the lab working right behind me. So trust me when I say that this is the start of making a true difference in the lives of millions of patients and their families worldwide. Thank you.
Yes, Sebastian, thank you for the good presentation. So my question, why did you choose prostate cancer as the first clinical application on the way to developing a MASH cancer blood test?
Yeah, so prostate cancer is evidently one of the biggest cancers, the biggest problems in cancer. And if you look into the data, it is also one with the biggest screening problems. We actually perform 23 million, just in the US, we perform 23 million PSA tests, 1.6 million biopsies to just find under 200,000 cancers. So every biopsy inflicts a lot of pain and cost and also side effects on the patient. So there's really a huge room for improvement to make this more efficient. And we also have to keep in mind that it works on the commercial side, because if you find prostate cancer early, you spend about $4,500 per patient. But if you find it too late, stage 3 or 4, you spend $270,000 per patient. That's like a lot more.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, first of all, very strong presentation. I really liked it. But you mentioned also the clinical evaluation. So you already did something about that. Can you elaborate a little bit more about what you have done so far?
Yeah, so our first published study was a prospectively blinded trial. So that is as ambitious as you can get. You perform a prospectively blinded study in the actual populations of prostate cancer patients you want to use your technology in. We did that and we published that last year. We enrolled 170 patients and we show that we can reduce the number of unnecessary prostate biopsies, so the biopsies performed on healthy patients, by about 70%. So that is very significant. We are now running a bigger study with 1,000 patients to also look at long-term outcome of our intervention. And we're running a third study in Singapore. So that is the first study abroad. And that's a multi-center prospectively blinded study with the 2 leading hospitals in Singapore as well. Also supported by Accelerate, which is the commercialization arm of A-Star.
Thank you.
All right, next we have Weibing Ng from Ssporogenics.
Hi, this is Weibing, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Ssporogenics. I'm sure some of you or even one of your loved ones have had some kind of surgical operations at one point of time. And we all know that stepping out of the operating theaters is not the end of the story. What's important is the subsequent healing process when complications can occur. And Ssporogenics is working on the solutions to improve surgical outcomes by the preventions of post-surgical adhesions. Right now, I'm relating to a personal experience where you can see in the pictures here, my mother and my sister, who is actually wearing a red, both wearing a red down here. They actually had the surgery some years ago. And although we were very happy that the tumors were removed for that cancer, but not to our expectation is that my mom actually were readmitted the day after discharge because she was vomiting nonstop. And that is exactly due to the small bowel obstructions that's caused by adhesions. And the same goes for my sister, who was readmitted years ago, even after the surgeries. So what I've seen myself is aligned with what has been reported based on surveys and statistics. Up to 93% of patients develop adhesions following surgeries. And you can imagine the pain when the tissues between the organs stick to one another. Current solutions exist as drugs as well as physical barriers, and none of these are ideal because we can see that the incidence rate is high at 93% even today. So the Ssporogenics is using a solution that is harvested from sunflower pollens. Yes, it's a sunflower pollen that we have been consuming for centuries, and it is biodegradable. But using our food technology processing, we are able to turn that sunflower pollen into a hydrogel film and also a spray-on gel. And what's important, the source of the materials, it is totally natural and it is sustainable. The value of the technology lies in the materials properties. As you can see here, the materials, the surface of the pollen is decorated with microspikes. And with these spikes, its sutures is not needed because it sticks to the surface right after the deployment, and therefore there's no migrations and there's no need for sutures. And what is more important, they decrease the adhesions by 90%. As you can see in the rats model study here, in the study group, we have the rats that is being dissected after 3 weeks after the implantations of the biobarrier materials, and there's no adhesions or minimal adhesions as compared to the control group, which has strong and thick adhesions, as you can see here, that's happening between the intestines as well as the internal abdominal walls of the rats. And this is exactly the same kind of adhesions that might be happening to your loved ones if adhesions do strike them. So we have compared our products against competitors, and we are proud to say that our product is superior because it is not sensitive to moisture, it is not sensitive to blood. In fact, it can be used as a homeostatic agent to prevent stop the bleedings, and especially the spray-on gel is very suitable for keyhole surgeries. And because our raw materials is pollen itself, so it is very economical and it is very sustainable. The risk class of these products will be the same as the existing products in the markets. It will be falling under a class 3 under the US FDA, and a class 3 in the EU. In Singapore, it will be a class D. The global adhesion barrier market is huge. Last year, it was at 820 million and has been forecasted to grow to 1.3 billion in 2024. Ssporogenics is born about a year ago, a few months before the COVID, and we are grateful that we have managed to come up so far 1 year later with the functioning prototypes, and as we speak now, large-scale animal testing is ongoing, and we have done this with 100K funding to date. And this is where the MedTech Innovator APAC Pacific program comes in right now. And we hope that you can support us by helping the company to go into the next level of mass manufacturing and to do a first-in-human trial clinical studies. And we are not asking for 19 million, we are only asking for 1.5 million to enable for us to bring a cost-effective solutions that can be accessible by a huge population base. And this is our amazing founding team members, myself, who has been regulators for many years, as well as scientific advisors, as well as clinical partners from the huge National University Health System in Singapore. And we are so privileged under the MedTech program to receive mentorship from Olympus, Johnson & Johnson, and Oliver Healthcare. And together with our academic partners, Tufts University in the US and SIT in Singapore, we are still trying very hard to bring our technologies to the markets to benefit more people. So finally, let's work together towards an adhesion-free world, because Ssporogenics can't do this alone. So help yourself, help your loved ones to prevent adhesions from striking yourself or your family members. And please vote for us, because We need your support, and we need everyone to work together. Thank you.
Excellent, and thanks, Wei Bang. Really interesting technology. So my question is around potential other applications for the technology.
Yes, thank you, Peter. In fact, that is one of the considerations as Ssporogenics first identified that we want to work on adhesions, and along the way we realized that the core technologies could be potentially applied to a lot of other areas. If you talk about hernia protections, the same materials can be used as a hernia mesh to prevent the hernia from reoccurring, as well as for glaucoma surgeries. And these are some of the potential applications of the same core technologies.
Excellent. Thanks.
Next up, Anand Sivaraman from Remedio.
Thank you so much, Paul. My name is Anand Sivaraman, and I'm the CEO and co-founder of Remedio Innovative Solutions. And I intend taking you through our journey in scaling eye care with cutting-edge AI-integrated medical devices. Now, apart from being celebrities, there is something common among the three photographs that you see down here. Bono, the lead singer and actor as part of the U2 group, Mila Kunis, and Judi Dench. They each have a critical eye disease that they've been able to manage and control the impact of primarily because of early detection. That could be glaucoma in case of Bono or AMD, macular degeneration in case of Judi Dench. They are not alone. There are more than 2.2 billion people worldwide who suffer from vision impairment or blindness. And what's more, 50% of the patients do not know that they are at risk. And lest we forget, this is not about the elderly alone. This affects people from all walks of life, including the young adults, the pediatrics, and the elderly. 80% of this is completely preventable and treatable if detected early. However, less than 25% of the global population actually gets screened. And why is that so? One, because there's an insufficient doctor-patient ratio. We have inconvenient and invasive testing procedures that involve dilation and long waiting periods. And frankly, most of the devices that have been built to date have been designed for specialists, that's ophthalmologists and optometrists, and not really for health workers and nurses. Now, how is Remedio seeking to disrupt eye care in its current form? We believe we may be able to do so by decentralizing eye testing, by making it accessible, convenient, and affordable. We believe that with our technologies and products, anyone can screen anywhere, anytime, be it in the local pharmacy, the supermarket, in the convenience of your home, or in a primary care physician practice. We build simple to use hardware and AI on the edge devices that allow for reports to be generated on the device within 10 seconds without the need for connecting to the cloud or the internet for the reports to be generated. What's more, our devices solve for all parts of the eye spectrum, all the way from the front of the eye diseases to the back of the eye diseases, as well as an all-in-one system that you see here that is fully automated, allows for contactless screening, and does roughly around 7 tests within 90 seconds. All of these are based on 3 granted patents and 4 published patents from Remedio on the hardware side. As the only company to own both the hardware and the AI, we do have some unfair advantages. We do have a significant barrier to entry that gets created because of the platform ownership. We have pricing flexibility of either doing a CapEx-based model or a recurring revenue model based on usage. We have access to data under material transfer agreements that allows us to continuously release new AI algorithms. And finally, doing both the hardware and the software allows us to own the customer experience through an integrated product experience. We have validated this problem, and the market has indeed validated our solutions. Our devices have so far sold in more than 20 plus countries, 2,000 of these devices impacting more than 7.5 million patients so far. We have marquee bouquet of existing customers in the retail space with Walmart and the payers like Blue Cross Blue Shield in the US through our teleophthalmology partner Iris. And we've also been working very closely in India with the government in public health with the provincial governments of Kerala, Karnataka, and Tamil Nadu. We have independent clinical validations and peer-reviewed publications that have helped build our brand. And these have been published in marquee journals such as JAMA Ophthalmology, Ophthalmology Retina, and Nature. Our largest traction has actually been in the US and India, where the recurring revenue opportunity we believe is over $1 billion US. And this is primarily through touch points that includes primary care, home health, pharmacies, ophthalmology clinics in the developing world, diabetes clinics, and public health centers. In these markets, we've actually been growing at a very steady clip of more than 82% CAGR and with healthy gross margins. And we actually clocked $2.7 million in revenue the previous year. Existing CPT codes can be used with our devices, and we are extremely excited with CMS launching a new CPT code for an AI-based DR diagnostic in 2021. We do have the specific leadership expertise that is needed to scale, with the R&D and the engineering teams having significant experience having come out of MIT, NTU, and EPFL, as well as professional experience in GE, Allergan, and Novartis, and Every Prasad Eye Institute. We seek an $8 million raise, of which $1.5 million has been secured from existing investors, and we intend using this to scale to a $40 million company with 25% recurring revenues by 24-25. We've been extremely capital efficient and have raised less than $4 million to date to build a $2.7 million company. Finally, please join us and vote for us in our crusade against preventable blindness, and let's help the vision impaired find the Bono, Mila, or Judy in them. Thank you.
Thank you, Paul. Hi, Anand. Really interesting innovation. Thank you. Are you looking to diversify beyond AI for eye care?
Great question, Julie. I think we look at the eye as a window to systemic diseases as well. So while we start with the diseases of the eye, both chronic as well as acute, we also are starting to see research both within the industry that we are able to see that can actually start looking at cardiovascular risk, diabetic neuropathy, all of which can actually be detected by looking at interrogating the eye. So that's the way we are headed. I will still form the interrogating organ, but yes, we intend going beyond just eye diseases and starting to look at systemic risk as well.
Thank you.
Hi, Anand. Thank you for the presentation. My question is also related to your business model. So your device is portable, and then those tests can be done outside the clinics. So especially in the US, when those tests are done outside the clinic, can you use any existing reimbursement?
Great question, Choboko. Yes, indeed, you can. For example, if we are working with a channel access partner that's providing care at home by using our devices, they can use existing CPT codes that are allowed for telemedicine, teleophthalmology, if you will. So those are available. Of course, when it comes to new non-telemedicine based AI codes, there is one for that CMS is launching in 2021 for diabetic retinopathy screening in primary care settings. So those can get used. So today, most of the sales that we've done allow for the use of existing CPT codes for telemedicine and teleophthalmology for use with our devices.
Thank you.
All right, next, Helena Benitskaya from Healthy Networks.
Hi, Paul. Thank you. I'm Helena, CEO and co-founder of Healthy Networks. We're a 3-year-old startup focused on respiratory diseases, and we're just about to launch LungPass, the world's first low-cost AI-powered app and stethoscope anyone can use to detect deadly lung conditions early. This is my daughter, Yara. When she started coughing badly, like any parents, we were terrified. We had no way of getting a quick diagnosis to know what to do. Well, thankfully, it didn't end up being life-threatening, but not everyone is that lucky. COVID aside, respiratory conditions are the second leading cause of death in the world. Pneumonia is the #1 infectious killer in children, and COPD, a chronic condition that affects over 250 million adults, is the only leading cause of death on the rise. A lot of those cases can be attributed to an unclear or untimely diagnosis. Current diagnostic solutions either lack precision, like GP chest exam, or are often inaccessible, like an X-ray or advanced blood test. Delayed diagnosis leads to less effective treatment, longer recovery, preventable hospitalizations, and death. But what if that could change? What if an accurate early detection system became massively available on primary care and community level? Introducing LungPass, the world's first low-cost AI-powered app and stethoscope for lungs. It turns chest sounds into objective biomarkers of lung disease. Families can use it at home to detect and monitor respiratory conditions. GPs and nurses can use it as a screening and remote monitoring tool. One investor shared a story with me. His father has been coughing for weeks, but didn't think much of it. When he collapsed at home, He was lucky that his daughter found him just in time for the medics to save his life. Undetected, pneumonia filled air sacs in his lungs with fluid, somewhat like drowning. Well, LUNPAS can pick up those characteristic sounds early on. For example, there was a 5-year-old girl who came to a clinic with mild respiratory symptoms, and a doctor was ready to let her go home and continue observation there. But LUNPAS picked up crackles, a strong independent predictor of pneumonia. So an X-ray was ordered and it confirmed the diagnosis. A child got her early treatment and soon recovered. LUNPAS has been clinically tested and validated in studies involving over 350 patients. It has proven to be considerably more accurate than standard of care, AGP, in lung auscultation. And in our disease-specific studies, LUNPAS identified some patients that required immediate medical attention and could have otherwise gone unnoticed at that time. Families and individuals can buy LUNPAS out of pocket in retail or via e-commerce, and we're working on building health economic evidence to participate in value-based contracts with payers and be eventually reimbursed. We're just about to launch our product in Eastern Europe and expect to receive CE marking in Q1 next year. And although we start in Europe, our big go-to-market is China, with its unprecedented respiratory burden. With our team and co-partners, experts in research, manufacturing, distribution, and user experience, we're here to make an impact, prevent millions of unnecessary GP visits and hundreds of thousands of hospitalizations, save billions for health systems. Our mission is to reduce global respiratory burden. Your support here in the finals would accelerate LUNPAS path to APAC, a region where I believe our early lung disease detection system can bring the most benefit to society. Thank you.
Yeah, so Elena, thank you for the presentation. Really impressive what you have done so far. So I'm interested about the willingness of people to buy it really out of the pocket. Can you elaborate a little bit on that one?
Yeah, well, I can say they're totally willing to do that, and COVID has only fueled the interest. We have quite a long list of people who are waiting very impatiently for the product launch upcoming in a few weeks. And how they perceive LUNPAS is like a second thermometer, but for lungs, something that can help keep their anxiety at bay when their child, themselves, or their parents, a loved one, is coughing and they don't know whether that's something deadly, dangerous, or not.
Oh, thank you very much.
Why don't we go to Peter next? Peter.
Hi, thanks, Eleanor. My question is, there are a number of digital stethoscopes on the market today. What makes LUNPAS unique and different from the others?
Yeah, thank you, Peter. It's a combination of affordability, precision, and value to the regular person. So there are beautifully designed digital stethoscopes that focus either strictly on professionals or on the telemedicine case. And they're all rather expensive, something north of $150. And LUNPAS currently is the only device on the market that falls into the low-cost category, is at the forefront of precision in digital health and lung sound auscultation, and also provides ample information and actionable guidance across a range of respiratory conditions to the end user herself.
Thanks.
Hi, Helena. Hi. Take care of yourself, but it's a very interesting, innovation. I have a quick question, right? What makes you think that, you can really grow this startup into a global business?
Yeah, it's true. As a first-time founder with no previous experience in healthcare or hardware space, I actually started out with a patient perspective, and I believe that's the right one to have when your goal is to bring LUNPAS into every household. And the concept of our product is so simple yet impactful, which makes it rather compelling to people and easy to sell, not only to end users, but also to the very talented people who are building the product And we've grown quite a stellar extended team with people who have multiple exits under their belt, but have put multiple healthcare innovations on the market. And we're growing together. We're building it and doing it together.
Right. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, now we have Nikhil Shanwadkar. Tell us the Cartosense story.
Hi, I am Nikhil, CEO and co-founder of Cartosense. Cartosense is making surgical navigation accessible to the developing world. Let me introduce you to Alan. Alan had a tumor very close to the speech area of his brain, for which he underwent neurosurgery. He had a successful outcome and was able to speak again after recovery. Lucky for him, he lives in the United States. His surgeon had access to surgical navigation, which helped the surgeon remove all of the tumor without damaging the speech area. But for more than 5 million patients in the developing world every year, only 30% have access to surgical navigation. This year, 1.5 million patients in India and Southeast Asia alone will need surgery for conditions like tumors, hydrocephalus, and epilepsy. And 1 million of those will not even have the option to have navigated surgery. That's 1 million potential complications. A navigation system works by tracking the surgeon's instrument and displays its position on patient images so that the surgeon can reach targets inside the brain with maximum accuracy. Medtronic, Brainlab, and Stryker, the three leaders in this space, have systems that are expensive, complex, and too large, sometimes even being fixed to a dedicated operation theater. Without the flexibility and simplicity required to operate in smaller and busier operation theaters, these products cannot become widespread in the developing world. Cartosense introduces the most compact and portable surgical navigation product ever developed, Iris. Made possible by our unique single-camera optical tracking technology, this product has been built using cutting-edge hardware and algorithms developed over 5 years. We are ready with a production equivalent device fully manufactured, and we are about to start a pilot with a potential customer. We have already validated in our bench tests and early unsterile trials that the technology works, and this has the required accuracy that's necessary by testing against global standards. We are about to start a clinical study in early 2021 where we will be validating the accuracy of our product on real patients. Our timeline is exciting. We are a few months away from entering the India market. We will be designated as Class C by the CDSCO in India by the end of next year, and we are expecting to have a US FDA 510(k) approval by early 2022. After the approval, we will be scaling up to multiple APAC markets. We have a team, a dedicated team that has executed on this to date and is capable of bringing this technology to market. Dr. Gopal Krishnan, who is the head of neurosurgery at JIPMER, one of the leading academic hospitals in India, is on our clinical team. For today's incumbents, the market is $1 billion opportunity, but the reality is that 30% of the market has been left untapped due to the limitations of their technology. Because of the advantages of our system, we believe that we can take a lead in the emerging markets. And in addition to neurosurgery, because our system is so compact and portable, we can take on the ENT and dental markets as well. We have the opportunity with all of our technology to open up a $3 billion global market. We have been able to do all of this with just $200,000 US. And winning today will take us halfway towards our goal of raising $300,000 to enter the India market and complete our US regulatory submissions. Help us bring this technology to the 5 million patients in the developing world who do not have access to surgical navigation today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikhil. It's very interesting. So my understanding is your system is very compact. So my question is, what is stopping existing players from developing a compact and portable product?
Thanks, Kyoshi. That's actually a great question. So there are two aspects to this. From a commercial point of view, the incentives of our competitors are more aligned towards extracting more value out of their products in the developed markets. But more importantly, from a technology point of view, there's a lot of IP that we have developed. Apart from the cutting edge hardware, a lot of the IP is in the algorithms and trade secrets that bring in our advantages, and this is not at all easily reproducible.
Excellent. Hey, thanks so much for the presentation. My question is 300K really enough? I mean, what else could you do with more money?
Yeah, thanks, Peter, for the question. So 300K is for us to commercialize our product in the India market and get a US 510K approval. We have an all-encompassing vision for how targeted surgery can create improved patient outcomes from precise planning to repeatable intraoperative guidance. And we have an R&D pipeline with technologies such as VR, AR, and robotics integrations lined up. With more money, we can have a more aggressive scale up in the India and Asia Pacific markets, and also bring these more impactful technologies to the market faster.
Nikhil, thank you so much for your presentation. So you talked about developed market and then the emerging market. So when you try to compete across those markets, these VR, robotics, AR technology, do you think that can be a little challenging?
Yeah, thanks, Tomoko, for the question. So in fact, we, like I said, we have a very all-encompassing vision for targeted surgery, which involves precise preoperative planning solutions, repeatable intraoperative guidance, and also post-operative image analysis. We have already, in fact, a VR integration for the navigation system coming up next year. And this will, in fact, be the first VR-enabled surgical planning system, which is integrated with a navigation product on the market. We also have a subsequent AR integration coming up, which will make navigation even more intuitive for the surgeon and precise for the patient in the operation theater. So we are excited about bringing this technology to the developing world, making it accessible. But then we also have a lot of things in work so that we can compete equally well in the developed markets as well.
Okay, so we've heard all the pitches. Now it's time for you to vote. It's very simple. Go to medtechinnovator.org to our website. At the top of the page, you'll see an image, a big banner image that's for the Asia Pacific Finals. Click on that. It'll take you to a special page. You might already be there. On that page at the top is a little box that asks for your email address. Now, if you're one of our qualified voters, meaning that you're either a member of APAC Med, you are an attendee recently of the Asia Pacific MedTech Forum, or you're part of the MedTech Innovator ecosystem of judges and investors, you have the opportunity to vote. So if you enter your email address and hit submit, it will send an email to your email account with a special link to vote. You click on that link, it will take you to our voting system where you can choose from one of these 5 companies. If for some reason it doesn't work, just email apacsupport@medtechinnovator.org. We'll get back to you right away to help with the problem.